Welcome to the 90 Plus Cellars Wine Truck Sessions. I'm Terry with 90 Plus Cellars, and we're here in Boston. It's a beautiful sunny day. This is our hometown, Boston, Massachusetts. We've been here since 2009, and I'm coming at you from a scene in front of our wine truck. Hopefully some of you guys have seen our wine truck out at events and whatnot. Normally around this time, we'd have this truck out doing wine pop-ups, and we would be out at events all over the place because, you know, we believe that wine is social and we want to interact and engage with you guys, and we want to, share a cheers with you and a glass of wine. But obviously this summer is going to be a little different. It's a little challenging what we're living through right now, but we want to find a way to continue connecting with you this summer, and that's why we're doing this as our first virtual wine hangout. We're going to do a bunch more of these this summer, so we hope you will continue tuning in with us over the next few months. This first session is wine cocktails, and we've brought in a great guy from Boston who works in the restaurant and bar scene here at a restaurant called Loco, who's going to show you guys some delicious summer-friendly wine cocktails, so stay tuned for that. But first, I just wanted to say a few words about some of the wines that we're going to be working with. The first one in particular is particularly relevant today. It's our Boston Rosé because it is connected to the restaurant industry. We launched Boston Rosé about 3 years ago as an homage to our hometown. We launched it in partnership with Boston Magazine. And we work with a great local artist, Amanda Williams Galvin. She's got a website, shoprevelrevel.com. I'd recommend checking out. She does a great illustration every year. You can see this year she's done a beautiful collage of the Boston landscape, Boston cityscape. But every year we donate a percentage of this wine's income to a local nonprofit. And this year we wanted to put that towards the restaurant industry. Obviously, restaurants have had a challenging time over the last few months. And we have a lot of friends in the restaurant and bar industry that we want to support. So we partnered up with Greg Hill Foundation, and they have a nonprofit called Restaurant Strong Fund. And they've been doing some great work over the last few months, putting resources into folks from the restaurant and bar industry who have needed that to really survive and get by. And we're really excited to share that we're donating $25,000 this year to the Restaurant Strong Fund. Actually, this wine is just about sold out of our warehouse and out in all the stores around the Boston area. So that means we get to write a check for $25,000 in the next week or so. So we're excited about that. The wine itself, and let's get to the exciting part here, the wine cocktails, which I want to get to too because my mouth's watering and I'm ready for a drink. Boston Rosé is a very traditional Southern French style dry rosé. It's fruit forward, it's got nice red strawberry fruits. The wine is a blend between Grenache and Cinsault, which is a pretty common blend that you'd find in Southern France. Southern France is also perhaps more well known for Provence rosé, but Languedoc, where this wine comes from, is also a great rosé producing region. And you know, if you're looking for a fresh, everyday go-to rosé for the summer, these Southern French style rosés are really the ticket. And I think in particular having that dry factor and having some fruit forwardness makes it particularly good for the type of cocktail that Steve's gonna make for us today. So without further ado, let me introduce Steve Baresi. Steve comes to us from Loco, which is a taqueria and oyster bar in South Boston. He's been with the restaurant for 8 years since they launched. And anyway, let's go see what he has to make for us today. All right, Steve.
Thank you, Terry. I'm Steve from Loco. I'm happy to be here with 90 Plus Cellars today. We're going to bring you guys a lot of wine-based cocktails that are perfect for the summer months that are coming up ahead to enjoy on your patio, your deck, any outdoor space you have. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is the watermelon sangria, and that's going to feature the Boston Rosé. My first step, going to grab some ice. Going to grab a few cubes of watermelon to muddle.
Steve, do you think using like fresh watermelon as opposed to like watermelon juice makes a difference?
I think it makes a huge difference. Yeah, I mean, especially right now when you want to. I mean, this is the season for watermelon.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
might as well go to the store, grab
Absolutely.
a fresh watermelon. Whatever you don't use in these cocktails, you can enjoy to eat. The next step I'm going to do right here is going to add a little Steel Dust vodka. It's going to be about a ½ ounce pour there. Next step, I'm going to do about a ½ ounce of lemon juice. Next step after that, gonna add a little dash of simple syrup.
Simple syrup is a common ingredient that a lot of people have if they make a lot of cocktails at home, but it's basically just sugar and water.
That's exactly what it is. I mean,
So
a lot of
just
people.
a little sweetness.
Yeah, a lot of people get goaded into maybe buying it at the store. You can just make it at home.
Yeah,
little
I
sugar,
get goaded
hot
into
water.
buying it at the store, but
Next up, little dash of cranberry juice cocktail. Easy to find anywhere. I'm gonna shake it up. Grab my cocktail glass. And dump it right in there. I'm gonna leave a little room. Float it off with the Boston Rosé. And there you have a nice watermelon sangria.
That is a beautiful color. I mean, if you guys can see this, hopefully in its full pink glory, this is what a rosé cocktail should look like. And it smells delicious. It's got that watermelon essence. This is summer in a glass. Nice work, Steve. Here, I'll give you this back, and we'll move on to the next wine. So, I think one thing that you could probably say, and Steve, you can correct me if I'm wrong because you're more of the cocktail guy, but sparkling wine is probably the most common wine ingredient when it comes to cocktails.
Oh, I would say so, definitely. But rosé has experienced, a huge influx in the past couple of years, especially in the summer months. I mean, it just works so well with different types of liquor and juices that, it's just so easy to make like cocktails with and play around with. And you have something like that, like a sangria is a summer staple as well. So if you can mix the two together, you're gonna make yourself a great drink for yourself.
We'll get into a sparkling rosé later, which basically is the best of both worlds.
Yes.
But let's move on to the prosecco, because prosecco is a very common ingredient. You'd find at a bar when it comes to wine cocktails. This is our prosecco, lot 50, 90 plus cellars. This is one of our most popular wines. Sparkling wine as a whole has just blown up in the last 5-7 years, and prosecco has really been at the forefront of that. It's delicious. It's not expensive. It's readily available. So all of those things make it very good for using in a cocktail in addition to just drinking and enjoying. But I think one of the things that has made sparkling wine and prosecco in particular so popular recently is that it's very diverse. Sparkling wine used to be a holiday thing, but people have realized sparkling wine is great all times of year, especially during the summer. It's great with all kinds of food. It's great in cocktails, mimosas, French 75s. I think you're doing kind of a riff on a French 75 today, so he'll tell you about that in a sec. But our prosecco, just one other thing I'd say about that is this is a brut prosecco, and brut is a level of dryness. So the most dry you're going to get is an extra brut, and then brut is about 6 to 12 parts of sugar per liter. And then the next sweeter style of prosecco would be extra dry. And actually a lot of the proseccos on the market are extra dry. They're a little bit sweeter than ours. So I think that's one thing that has made our prosecco particularly great, is that it is a little bit drier. And from a cocktail standpoint, I think that dryness does help out, because
definitely.
Anyway, let's go to you and let's see what we're making.
All right. Like Terry said, I'm going to do a little riff on a French 75 cocktail. Now, traditionally, a French 75 features gin. Today, because I work at Loco and my preferred spirit is tequila, that's what we're going to work with today. So, to start it off, we're going to go with 2 ounces of tequila. gonna do a little bit of lime juice as well. Want about an ounce or so. Next, we're gonna use a little agave nectar.
Now, agave nectar, obviously that's just another kind of sweetener. but
Exactly.
Is that,
Yeah.
do you have, I mean, I have a pretty extensive home bar cocktail, shelf, but I don't have agave nectar. Can you swap something for that, or you feel like that's, because you're using tequila, agave is kind of the way to go?
I mean, I definitely like to use agave, and you're seeing it. That's another thing you're seeing starting to see pop up a lot more, especially in like grocery stores where it's like a natural sweetener. But you could definitely swap out like a simple syrup, where it's just like a natural sweetener, something like that. Just to give it that little extra kick. And for us personally, when I work, we like agave. It typically comes in like a thick syrup. If you like, you can reduce that down a little bit with some hot water, make it more liquidy, a lot easier to mix cocktails with. Well, like we said, you want to just swap out a simple syrup, something like that.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a problem at all.
Yeah.
So, I mixed all my ingredients in here. So this is going to be a Mexican 75. I'm just going to strain it right in here. Oop. Again, you want to leave a little room. We're going to float that off nicely with the 90 Plus Cellars Prosecco.
The choice of the flute as the kind of vessel for this cocktail, I think obviously complements the fact that you're getting a sparkling cocktail.
Absolutely, yes, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't feel right not to be drinking Prosecco out of a flute in some capacity, so we're going to stick with that right here.
Yeah, tequila is another one of those things that's been on fire recently, along with Prosecco and sparkling. So I think this is the perfect, fresh, summer cocktail that brings together tequila and Prosecco. So yeah,
absolutely,
that's awesome.
Yep.
All right, cool. So the last cocktail we're gonna have Steve make for you today is with our sparkling rosé. Grab a bottle of this real quick. So this is essentially the coming together of rosé and Prosecco. This is essentially a rosé Prosecco. It comes from the same general region in northern Italy that you'd find Prosecco. It's made in the same manner as Prosecco using the Charmat method, which is really essentially you're creating the sparkling element in a tank, as opposed to champagne, for instance, which you're creating the sparkling element in the bottle itself. This is fresh, this is fruit forward. It has a lot of the taste profile that you get out of a Prosecco, but essentially if you put the Prosecco and the rosé together, this is what you get. So I'm actually really curious to see what Steve is going to make with this, because Prosecco is in so many different cocktails. Sparkling rosé has gained a lot of excitement in recent years. So let's see what you're cooking up.
All right. So when I knew I had to work with a sparkling rosé, right away I knew I wanted to do an old Loco classic from one of our first years. And that's called the Chica Loca. All right.
It's a great name.
Firstly, we're gonna go once again to our tequila. Gonna do about 1.5 ounces there. Next, we're gonna do about 3/4 ounce of lime juice. About the same amount with simple syrup, 3/4 ounce.
I'd say one other thing about, we were talking about simple syrup and agave. I think this is probably one of the ingredients that you can move up and down based on your personal preference of level of sweetness. I personally don't like my cocktails too sweet. Some people like them sweeter. That's maybe one of those ingredients you can adjust a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. And even if you're about to use something like triple sec right now, you can definitely play around with those syrups a little bit more. Triple sec is a bit of a sweetener as well. So if you want to go a little on the lighter side, either way, just play around with those things and adjust the ingredients. You should come out with the same tasting cocktail either way. So like I said, next we're gonna add a little triple sec. About 3/4 ounces again. Next, this might be a little difficult to come by, passion fruit puree. We get a lot of this at Loco. Gonna add about an ounce in there.
Is this something that is passion fruit puree something that you would make on your own, or is this something you try to find at a
You
store?
would definitely need to probably buy this in the store. I mean, if you cut into a passion fruit itself, it's a little difficult to work with, a lot of seeds. If you wanted to replace it with something, I would probably go with like a guava or something. Even like if you're just using the bare bones of this cocktail without the passion fruit, if you want to go something, maybe go with like a Paloma or something, you could add a little grapefruit juice and you'd have something very closely resembling this cocktail. The next step right here, I'm gonna muddle a couple strawberries, a couple cucumbers. Always going with the fresh fruit. Now this is a perfect cocktail with the 90 Plus Cellars Sparkling Rosé, because if you look at the tasting notes on the back of the 90 Plus Cellars, it features passion fruit and I believe strawberries as well. So you got this combo right here, and I mean, this is just gonna enhance the flavors of everything we've used so far. So
you guys at Loco, do you do any regular cocktails with sparkling rosé?
We used to do this one. Currently, we don't offer any, but this is an old favorite. Like once in a while, we do get somebody be like, "Oh, can you make the Chica Loca?" And we usually have everything readily available. So
I like that, Chica Loca. It feels like the perfect name for sparkling rosé.
Exactly, exactly. Like we like to keep things a little crazy, so outside the name. So
that's another. All three of these cocktails, I must say, have looked absolutely beautiful and perfect for summer. This one in particular. Looks mighty tasty.
Yeah. You're gonna get a lot of definitely a little tartness with the passion fruit there, but it's just like it's gonna be a nice balance. Like you be careful with those because those will go down quick. So
well, thank
that's
you.
the Chica Loca there for you.
Yeah, thank you for making up these cocktails for us. We're gonna put these recipes on our website and make it easy for you guys to make these at home. I'm sure like the sangria, for instance, is probably something you could make and batch out if you want to make it for a big group or not that we're going to have big groups parties that much this summer, but if you're having a big group and socially distanced, you know, a rosé watermelon sangria seems like the perfect thing to have available for everybody. But we're going to get Steve back over to the table and talk a little bit more about the restaurant industry and about wine and cocktails, and we'll take it from there. Steve, thanks again for joining us today and indulging in this 6-foot table separation between us. I just took a sip of this. Take another. This is freaking delicious. It's bright, like Steve said, and you really get that passion fruit.
Oh yeah.
You get some of that fruitiness from the rosé, from the sparkling rosé as well. You could probably put even a little more sparkling rosé in here if you want to, make it a little bit more sparkling.
Absolutely. Yep.
Man, this is really a delicious summer cocktail. That has the fruit and the acid that I like in my cocktails. If you think that this would be sweet when Steve was making it based on the ingredients he was using, it has fruitiness, but it's not like sweet. It has a lot of acid and a lot of brightness that makes it very balanced. Highly recommended. Nice
Thank
work.
you.
Nice
Appreciate
work.
it. Thank you.
That's probably why you do this, for a living.
Exactly.
So, I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about wine cocktails, but also, just how things have been going in the restaurant business.
Yes.
So you were with Loco when they opened 8 years ago, is that right?
2015. Yep.
Okay.
5 years ago.
Oh, 5 years ago. Sorry.
Yep. I've been with Loco. I started as a bar back. Just worked my way up over the past couple of years. We have an amazing team there. People I've loved working with since day one. The people that work there, like their strengths are coming even through more now with the challenges we've had the past couple of months.
Sure.
So
you guys have gotten fairly creative, it seems, as well with what you've done. While restaurants have been shut down, it sounds like you guys are doing some cocktail kits.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We've definitely had to adapt on the fly. And it's been a huge credit to teams at our place all across the country, really, that places have been doing what they're doing. Yeah, just trying to keep business flowing as any way we can. The food has obviously been the huge draw, but
Just from
especially
people doing takeout and
yeah,
stuff.
oh yeah, which is a huge credit to the kitchen there as well. But like for us at the bar, we're a little, we were like, what can we do to help? And especially with a lot of the restrictions we have in in Massachusetts, it's like, what can we do? And people, like, we're known for our cocktails, so we're like, okay, what can we do to bring those to people? Where we started with these cocktail kit things where we're giving you basically the bare bone ingredients, which you might be a little tougher to come by in your store. Maybe, you just want the convenience of grabbing and going. Where like you could buy like a margarita mix at a store in a bottle. Now you can come to Loco or any other restaurant and you can, we've been packaging those things. You have like, for example, you have our coconut margarita, which is like the coconut mix is something we make in-house. And so to give people that ease of just being like, okay, I can grab a cocoa margarita kit to go tonight. It's been great. It's fun to see like everybody posting their kits on social media, seeing people get creative.
You guys saw a lot of interest in the kits?
Oh yeah. Since we started doing them, it's crazy to me, honestly. It's just like you would never think like.
I mean, cocktails can be very intimidating to people.
Absolutely, yeah.
I know that I was intimidated about cocktails for a long time until I really started going deep in cocktails at home and experimenting, and gradually you start building up a bar. But it takes time. It takes time and money and experimentation to build up enough, cocktail ingredients at your home to make great stuff like this. And so I think that's why these cocktail kits are so cool.
Oh yeah.
Do you plan on continuing to do them after things?
I think we will, and I hope we do. I mean, like you said, like it's tough to get into like building up that bar and having all this stuff, and like especially stuff like tools, and like you're forced to get creative. And like even for us, for example, like we put like you might have seen me use a muddler a couple of times. Not everybody has a muddler at their disposal. You can get creative.
If you have an ice cream scoop, you just turn it upside down.
Exactly. I was gonna say use a wooden spoon, something like that. Even like if you don't have a strainer, you might have seen me spill a little bit earlier. I'm a little out of practice, but when I strained the Mexican 75, like you can just pull the glasses apart a little bit, strain it like that. You just have to, and it's great. I mean, it's cool to see people like I said, like people posting on Instagram. Like it's fun. Like it hopefully going forward, it gives people that confidence at their home. Like, oh, I can do this. Like,
sure.
It's not like just don't coming for my job or anything like that. That's all I ask. So.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, I think wine it's not the most common ingredient when it comes to cocktails. I personally don't make a lot of wine cocktails at my house, but part of that is because you don't always have you want to drink your bottle of wine, and you don't always have a little bottle of wine to use in for your one-off cocktail or two-off cocktail, whatever it is. We actually sell the Prosecco in mini 187 milliliter bottles, which is particularly good for making cocktails at home. But there are a lot of cocktails out there that are fairly well known, that like the mimosa, for instance. You can't make a mimosa without Prosecco or sparkling wine. You can't make an Aperol Spritz without Prosecco or sparkling wine. So it is a good ingredient.
It's great to use. I mean, especially like you said, where it's like it's tough to build up those like bars at home where it's like a lot of liquor, a lot of money goes into it. And if you've seen like when we're making these cocktails today that are wine based, like they really complement the flavors and stuff like that. And that way you don't it's usually one or the other, right? Where it's like, oh, I want to either have a glass of wine or I want to have a cocktail or I want to have a beer. This way you can balance them out, and it's like you don't need to use a ton of liquor. Like you don't need to use your whole bottle of tequila to make like a nice cocktail at all. You can like offset that with a little bit of sparkling rosé or something like that, and it's just it makes a good balance. And especially when you can enhance and complement those flavors, I think it's fun to play with, and especially in these months where it's just like refreshing now. So.
I mean, and I think that like sparkling wine in particular, rosé, and the way that you are using these ingredients, it is about, I think, that enhancement. It's about like for all three of these ingredients, you use the wine as the last step to top it off. So in the case of the two sparkling wines, that gave it the sparkling element. In the case of the rosé, it might have just given it that burst of rosé goodness to kind of balance the watermelon.
It's kind of one of the first things that hits your tongue, and it's like it's just like a lot of the reason we do float it on top too is I don't want to shake it either. Like, I don't want to make a big mess.
That
I
is
did
a
kinda
good
make a little
point.
mess
That is a
earlier,
good
but
point.
yeah.
So tip, shake, then add the wine in the case of these cocktails.
I would say so, especially when it's more of one of the sparkling variety. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Shake and then float. Yeah. Unless you want to be wearing your cocktail, which you don't want to be doing. So.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to ask you a little bit about the restaurant, and you guys haven't opened up yet, right? So you're opening up some outdoor space soon, or?
Yeah, we're hoping to open up some outdoor space soon. There's a lot of hoops to jump through.
Yeah.
Like a lot of licensings, things like that, boring stuff that even like these cocktail kits, we'd love to add liquor. People are like, does it come with tequila? I'm like, no, sorry, like gotta add your own. But we're hoping. Things are hopeful to get a lot of legislation passed, stuff like that. Like I said, boring stuff. But we don't make the rules. We just kind of try to follow them. And like I said, you got to adapt. You got to work with what you have. So.
Yeah, I think that's what everybody's doing, and
yeah.
I think this summer is going to be obviously continue to be a challenge. Hopefully, we'll see restaurants and bars come alive a little bit, and outdoor spaces, and I'm sure you guys watching are excited to start enjoying some of the great drinks that Steve's going to make, and some of the food that Loco's going to make. So,
absolutely. You're starting to see a lot of places doing it already. Hopefully our group will be right alongside soon enough. You're seeing a lot of places utilize outdoor space I didn't even know they had. A lot of picnic tables I've seen out already, so it's cool. We'll be back in the swing of things soon enough.
Awesome.
So,
well, thanks again for joining us, Steve, and hopefully you guys had some cocktail recipes here that you can use at home. They're perfect for summer, as I've stated, and this one in particular, I'm sure the other two were just as delicious, but this one is mighty delicious. It's super refreshing, and I recommend making it home. If you are interested in learning more about these wines, you can always visit our website, 90pluscellars.com. We have their Prosecco Sparkling Rosé, Boston Rosé. You can find out where to get them in your neighborhood. Sparkling, the Boston Rosé is mostly here in the Boston area, but our Prosecco and Sparkling Rosé are all over the country. So take a visit and pick some of these bottles up. And as far as Loco, Steve, where should people go if they want to find out when you guys are opening and find out when they can maybe stop by?
Definitely, the Instagram's always a good one-stop shop. Loco South Boss Instagram page right there. We try to always have a huge communication with the community all around us. So as when we know, you guys will definitely know. So We're looking forward to serving everybody soon, having a good time, throwing a party.
Well, in the kind of spirit of togetherness, of community, of celebrating together, hosting up a cheers even when we can't all be together. We hope you guys will join us this summer as we keep doing these virtual hangouts, virtual wine hangouts, and we look forward to grabbing a glass with you soon. So thanks for tuning in, and talk to you soon.